Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Learnin League with Professor Havokpus. I'm Professor Havokpus, and today I'm gonna hopefully teach you some stuff about League of Legends. Now, this is the first episode, so I kind of want to introduce this new concept a bit. So this basically is going to serve two functions. The first is to inform and educate low elo players who may not have a firm grasp on the game and its fundamentals. Maybe they're new, maybe they're stuck in some place and they just don't get something. Or maybe I just want to hear myself talk, but basically, I want to kind of make informative videos and maybe it'll help some people. Also, I'm sorry, my throat's dry. Also, this is going to function as a rank diary that will allow myself and anyone else who wants to participate to improve as a player. And I think that's really useful, just kind of documenting progress and documenting, okay, here's where I started, here's where I ended, what changes did I make in between, and what changes do I need to try to look at in the future. And I think that can really help players out. And hopefully this can be a vehicle for that. And ultimately I want to have the goal of creating a dialogue between high and low elo players and attempt to foster a really constructive environment of communal teaching and theory crafting. You can say, and yes, I understand that summer school does exist. I know. But I kind of want to do this on my own and try to make my own little teaching community and see where it goes from there. And since this is sort of a classroom type setting, I thought I'd make a syllabus. What class is without a syllabus? So basically, episode 1 is going to be the introduction to the series, as well as the philosophical approach to the game. Real, just how do you look at the game kind of stuff. Episodes 2 and 4 is going to be really important fundamentals, basically stuff that is super important and you need to know before you actually get into the game. And then episode 5 onwards, we're actually going to get into the game, finally look at solo queue stuff, from replays, maybe just glance at some op.gg stuff, see, where people are going wrong, maybe you're bouncing all over the place in terms of your role, maybe your champion pool is, you're just trying this and that without any thought, what have you. And also talk about some advanced discussion topics and stuff that can really just have its own video. But, for now, we're going to stay out of game. We're talk about just hitting the books, talking about important things. So episode 1 is the mind, body, and the spirit. So there are 3 fundamental forms of League, the 3 pillars that really sort of form what League of Legends is as a game. You have the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now the mind is all of the mental things that you kind of keep track of. Things like, what do champions do and what their capabilities are, what, losing my train of thought. What to do for like macro play and micro play, stuff like that. What certain items do and what's the best item build, runes and mastery. Keeping all of these things tracked inside your head. That's basically what the mind's function is. The body is just your mechanics, they're your hands, and the spirit is this sort of secret thing that I'm gonna get into more detail about. But try to think, what do I mean by the spirit? So mind, like I said, it's your game knowledge, matchups, champion skill sets, macro game, micro play, build paths, all this stuff you keep in your head. And it's all very important. You can't just fall back to just mechanics. You can be extremely mechanically, gifted, but if you don't have the necessary, mental tools to execute on these mechanics, you're basically just a glorified advanced bot. Uh, so you need to study and research all this stuff so you can just know how to play this game better in a really good way. So how you do that is just through research. You look at through like op.gg, they have champion builds. You look at pro builds. You go to summoner school if you need to ask questions. YouTube probably has a ton of informative video channels. Just, Twitch streaming, all this stuff. Watch it, read it, and just try to soak it all in like a sponge. Your mind is a sponge. So soak that in so you can really get your book learning down and know about all this stuff. But of course, reading is fun, but nothing beats cold hard execution. And that's where the body comes in. That's your game mechanics, your hands. And you can really only improve this through experience and practice. You can't, I could read you a book, I could describe to you things like how to CS, how to do an important skill combo for a champion. But unless you physically go into the game and execute it and practice it over and over again until you can do it at a really, really well-timed fashion, it's going to be really hard to really get better. And personally, I don't put that much on mechanics. They're very useful, but I think it's more that you need to have a marriage between your game knowledge and your mechanical skill. There are a lot of LCS players that may have really bad mechanics, but they know so much about the game, they can really fall back to, well, I'm not really good skill-wise, but I know this, and I know this, and I know this. So always try to focus on both this and this. Merge them into one. Because if you can do that, you can really take advantage of people who are either mechanically deficient or they just have no idea what they're doing. Alright, so the spirit. I hope everyone was asking themselves what the spirit was, because here it is. And it's basically just your in-game mentality. How do you approach people when they make mistakes? How do you react to all the stresses of you're losing a game? Your team is constantly dying. You're the only one who maybe has a decent KDA. Maybe you're the only one trying to shot call. Stuff like that. Just how you hold up in stressful situations, how you react, how you treat people. How do you look at mistakes? Do you accept them and move past them? Do you not? That's basically what the spirit is. Your inner self. And it's very important, because if you can approach League in such a manner that you are able to take stress and take on anything that is maybe frustrating and shake it off, you can do a lot better. So picture League like a game of tennis. League is a very complex game, I know. But in actuality, you can just break it down, and it's basically just like a game of tennis. Minion waves are going back and forth, and you and your team and the enemy team just pushing waves back and forth, just like a tennis ball. Back and forth. All you're trying to do is take the Nexus. That's the number one goal. Just kill the Nexus. Doesn't matter how many kills you have. It doesn't matter, how much CS you have. Well, it does matter, but kills don't really matter as much as taking turrets and eventually getting the Nexus. That's your only goal. And the game is ebbing and flowing in this way. So when a mistake is made, either by you, your team, or your enemy, or the enemy team, the tempo is thrown off. They basically scored, or you've scored on them. But how you respond to these mistakes can help make or break a game. You can either throw down your racket, you can yell, you can scream, you can keep focusing on that point, that one thing where, oh, I should have forehand instead of backhanded. Instead, you're on an entirely different new point. The game is kind of reset in a sense. You need to reset yourself and focus on what's to come instead of focusing on the past and that one little mistake you did. And then how you respond to all of this can help win you the game or lose the game. So there are basically two kinds of players. There's the good spiritual player. Right here, they're all happy. And then the bad spiritual player, super grumpy. So a good spiritual player is very respectful. They have a great mental reset button, and they recognize their own mistakes and own up to them. They're aware that everyone is human in this game. They have thoughts and feelings just like you do, and blaming them accomplishes nothing. Insulting them constantly, trash talking the enemy, screaming about how you're so tilted because you've died 3 times to stupid mistakes that you could have maybe avoided. All of it does nothing. It's not helping you get any closer to winning the game. If anything, it's helping you lose the game. And that's not cool. So if you can do all that, especially the reset button, if you can train yourself to have a really good mental reset, you can probably come back and win a lot of games that you maybe couldn't have won. And you can just shake off mistakes, shake off your teammates' mistakes, and just say, okay, did this wrong, that's fine. Going forward, you need to do A, B, and C to win. Let's work on A, and then transition into B and C. That's a good spiritual player. Now, a bad spiritual player is basically the opposite. Anytime you make a mistake, they're insulting you. They're screaming at how tilted they are every 5 seconds because they're dying or missing CS or whatever. They're blaming everybody but themselves when a mistake is made. They're not looking at things objectively. They're not focusing on the main objective of the game. They're not hitting the ball back and forth. They're focusing on the fact that they didn't hit the ball back like 2 or 3 points ago. So they're being a bad spiritual player. And you don't want that, because all you're doing is hindering everyone else's experience and really just making it a bad time for everyone. So how do you mend the spirit? How do you become this spiritual player? You have to accept your own faults. Pretty much everyone who's playing this game is human. They're not robots. They're not... I don't even know. But they all have opinions and thoughts and feelings, just like you do. So if you can accept that, that's the first sign of recovery. Also, only play when you want to ensure that you're maximally focused. Only play when you want to and when you're comfortable. If you had a really long day at work, don't play. You don't have to. Maybe watch a movie. Maybe play another game that you like to play. You don't have to go in, day out. Oh, I gotta play these 5 solo queue games. Maybe just, if you don't feel like it, just don't play. Because you won't be as focused and you won't be as in on the game as if you were ready to play. Also, play less often. Day by day play is kind of strangeful and actually makes it feel like a chore. I know in my experience, I tried doing that before. Playing I went in alright, I'm going to go hard on this game this season. I'm going to play day in, day out. I'm going to at least play 4 games. I'm going to play every day to try to ensure that I climb the ladder. After maybe 2 or 3 weeks of this, I was so stressed out, I was not enjoying the game anymore. It was not fun. I was a mess. So just play less often. Play maybe once or twice a week. Maybe only play a few games a day. Don't play for 3 or 4 days. Will it maybe hinder your ability to improve yourself in the game? Maybe. But will it also help you refocus? I think so. Also, it's only a game. This is just a game. You're not getting paid for this. I think if anyone should treat the game so seriously as a lot of players do, it's the professional players that get paid hundreds upon thousands of dollars to play. If you're not getting paid to play, what's the point? What's the point in getting upset? This isn't going to affect your livelihood. This isn't going to affect your life in any way. You're still gonna wake up tomorrow, go to work, come back, and just do whatever. It's only a game. We're only playing this for a sense of competition and fun. So just treat it as such. It's not a big deal if you lose. Sure, losing is upsetting. I mean, I get upset when I lose sometimes, especially if I'm winning in the early game. But ultimately, I tell myself, Havok, it's just a game. Yes, you lost, but it's fine. Take some time off, maybe maybe start a game up. Try to focus on what went wrong in that game, maybe how you can apply that to the future. Just treat it as a learning experience in a game. And I think you'll be fine. So, in conclusion, a player needs to balance their mind, body, and their inner self in order to succeed. It's great to have a lot of focus on the mind. You know everything about this game in and out. But you don't want to be a Mike Wazowski. You don't want to know everything about this game, but cannot play it worth anything. And you just have awful self-control. You don't want to be like Sully either, who's just the best scary ass monster, but he has no idea how to really be scary, like, efficiently. You need to balance the knowledge that you've gained, the experience that you've gained, and yourself in order to really succeed. Mentality is extremely important for success. If you have a great mentality, you can do so many things. I think one of the biggest warning tales that you can tell is the tale of Tarzan. And I may just make a video on it. I'm not sure, but essentially Tarzan was this up and coming challenger player. He got rank 1 at one point in season 6. He was riding high. His star was rising, but he was such a jerk to everyone that he got kicked off of the challenger team that he was playing for. He is now I think swimming in Diamond with a bunch of Smurf accounts, and I think a few of his accounts were just getting banned left and right. And he's just just this jerky guy, and he's not really successful because his mentality is awful. So if you have a good mentality, you will be so much more successful, just so much better than those that don't. So, if you can become a spiritual player, you will enjoy this game so much more. I guarantee you. You'll have just a higher chance of winning. As soon as I took this approach to playing League of Legends, I have enjoyed it so much more. Even in the games that I've lost, I have felt sharper, I have felt more focused, and I have felt like I am actually enjoying the competitive, ebb and flow of climbing the ladder and playing this game. And I think you will too. So, this is it for episode 1, I guess. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below if you liked it, if there's anything you need to change, what you think, what little homework assignment. In the comments, say what your personal play philosophy is, and maybe we can see if this matches up with mine. If it's different, who knows? But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.